too. So, so Mary, are you, forgive me, but are you currently a content subscriber of ours?
No.
No. Okay. So what I was going to do is just kind of go over what we provide. So in this meeting, we were really just going to try to gather some feedback from people from our schools who do subscribe to our content, and but all ideas are welcome in terms of you know, what kind of content would you find useful for your school, in your school's marketing, really, or just communications. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and let me make sure I have the right. And this is not a sales call by any means. I just kind of want to go over kind of so you get some context as what we're talking about here. So if you are a Nido Marketing content subscriber, then you have access to this members area of our website. And this is where every month we post a collection of content for our client schools to use. And so and this isn't going to show a whole lot here, but you can see each one of these allows you to download a zip file of Word documents that each file is a blog article. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about probably mostly today is what are some topics that we're looking for, or that you would be looking for to be covered. The thing that I think is, I was a client of Nido before I was here, and these blogs were the reason we became a client, because we could not get a blog written to save our lives. So, and now that we've been doing this for a while, Nido there's such a great library here. I know I'm flipping through this really quickly, but so there's those. And then for every blog article, we also write an email that corresponds to the blog. So the idea is you post the blog on the website, and then you have an email that goes out to your email list. Hi, Melissa. And so the idea is to kind of keep in touch with your email list to bring them back to your website. And then also, and I think I'm going to rename this to just be the weekly social post, because what it is it's a social post with a photo. It can be posted on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere you are. It would be fine to post there. So again, it's the same idea as you kind of, you know, blast your social channels with the little blurb about your blog, again, trying to get people to come back to your website and then hopefully schedule a tour and take the next step. And then kind of separate from that, those would all be on the same topic. Every week would be a topic. We have the daily social posts. So those look like this. This is the actual file that you receive every month. So these are really more appropriate. They're not appropriate for Instagram because we don't include a photo. We include a link. So, but Facebook, Twitter, they're fine to post. So basically, you can see here, they're just kind of a curated list of articles about anything to do with Montessori or parenting or child development, or anything that we feel would be of interest to a Montessori parent. So that's what we're talking about today, is just this content. And I'm going to stop sharing. Megan is our new writer. We've and she really wanted to talk to you guys and just get your feedback on what the topics have been. And I'm going to just hand it over to Megan to talk a little bit more. And as we gather ideas, I'll be taking notes, but also if you guys can drop it in the chat too, that's be really helpful, because I'll get you know, I can see the chat after our meeting. So if I miss something, it'll be there. Okay, all yours, Megan.
Thanks, Camille.
So I would love to just hear a little bit. I know Mary a little bit, but I'd love to hear we can introduce ourselves and where you're from, what you're hoping. Like, you will know this has been a successful time together if, and you fill in the blank. So is there someone who would like to start?
I can start because I'm probably the one you don't know. Hi, thanks for having me. I am the assistant head of school at White Bear Montessori School in Minnesota. We've been Nido members for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, 2017 maybe, or 18. And I've been kind of managing all of that for about 14 months. And I'm the one who kind of adapts the blogs to us and manages that process and adds our pictures and things since March of 2021. So I'm like the blog lady here. And I tend to pick and choose from all, because I kind of came into it late, and White Bear Montessori had not done consistent blogging, even though we had Nido. So I have kind of picked and chosen as to what we need, not just what was available that month. And of course, every now and again, we throw in one that isn't a Nido blog, that is something one of our guides have done.
Nice. That's lovely.
And I guess I would say, in terms of like something I'd love to see, or we'd love to see, is more toddler content. Yeah, more toddler content. And then it seems like there's a lot of like Montessori material highlights for language and math, but more material highlights for other things at elementary and toddler and, practical life and sensorial.
Yes, that's lovely. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that feedback. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
What your toddler program, how young does it start? What are the
16 months, 16 to 33 months. And we do not have a Nido, an infant program, but we do have a very fertile community. So we have families that would benefit from infant information if we shared it.
Yes. Yeah. I've been curious about that too, like how to use those like pre-toddler sort of posts as a way of building some momentum and interest in the toddler.
And we do have a parent-infant class that's been on hiatus since the fall of 2019 because of obvious reasons, but we are hoping to bring it back this coming fall. So again, we would just love more 0 to 3 content.
Yeah, great. Lovely. Thank you so much, Melissa. Who would like to go next?
Well, I should, Meisel's on the call. He's our client support manager. So
oh, okay.
He listens in on all of them, but he's
hello.
And he does have how old is your little guy now, Meisel? He's almost 2, right?
He's 2.
Yeah.
He's turned 2 last month.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Oh.
Congratulations. It's a fun age.
Thanks.
And so, Mary, thank you. And Mary, do you want to share a little bit about what what you're hoping for and anything else?
Well, just Camille, just to clarify what I do, I'm a consultant. In fact, I have been to White Bear. I don't think you were there, Melissa, when I was there, but I don't. Anyway, I was
actually here like 15 or 20 years ago when you were here, and then I left and I came back the next time you were here. So if you come again, I'll be here.
Okay. So anyway, so I do consultations at the birth to 3 level, and primarily right now for AMI USA, but I also do a lot of independent, also independent visits. And one of the reasons I started coming to your town halls, Camille, was because I interact with a lot of administrators. And it's always helpful to say, oh, this was a great talk. This was, or this is happening. Maybe this would be something. So I try to send them to you. And that's why I was just, curious, and because I knew Megan, I was like, well, I wonder what Megan's like, what is her role is going to be in this, so that's very exciting. And right away, Melissa, I'm delighted to hear that you want more content for children and, under 3. And one of the things that has, kind of caught my attention recently is family support. That's a huge piece. It's not just that early childhood programs should focus on educational content for children, but it's a bigger picture than that. And all of these things are coming up now about, children with sort of this same, it's not achievement. It's more like opportunity. And, if you have a family where both parents are working full-time jobs, how much time is left for those children, at the end of the day, on the weekends, and how that, and sort of, how to create more family support.
Yes, so true. Yeah. General support, parent support and parenting. Yeah, that's really helpful. The other question I had, because I was sort of looking at so just a little background too. I was going to share my screen, but I won't. Well, I don't think that we can just chat, but the Montessori School of the Berkshires that my husband and I co-founded, we have been members, Nido Marketing members since the spring of 2019, and have also just loved, like, it's funny that those blogs and posts have just been amazing. And I've been curious about, like, when sometimes we have parents email us saying, thank you so much, this is wonderful, and respond. I'm curious, Melissa, if you found that parents have responded, because they have there's so often an invitation of, like, let us know. And have you found that that's been the case?
We get, when we repost it on our Facebook page, we get nice comments and things. I don't know that we've done a great job of promoting our blogs to our current parent community, only because of just the way this year has gone with illness. But our prospective parents, it has been invaluable, because we have a tour or a phone conversation and they ask about whatever topic, or I bring it up and I can say, oh, and I can send you a blog post to follow up. And I feel like we, over time, like over a year now, have developed enough posts that we have a kind of a library that we can refer to. And that, like, for example, because part of my role is also coaching the guides, that if somebody's having a particular issue, I can say, here's this blog post that we did 3 months ago, share it with them. And then it's just a matter of tapping into it. When we tap into it, it's very useful.
Yeah, that's such a great idea in terms of just thinking about how this content is useful at another level for the school community with staff. That's really, yeah.
And one thing I've done, because I'm like totally this kind of person, myself will appreciate this. I have a spreadsheet that has a list of all the blog titles and a link to all of the blogs and their, what do you call it? The subjects that it,
like the themes or areas.
Yes. And then like, who was the author? And then any notes about, like, I want to update pictures in a year from now or something. But then like, I can go in and do a search for freedom and discipline and say, oh, I don't really need another blog about that. So if schools are using it a lot, it's very useful, because otherwise I would spend all day just like looking through, I think I wrote a blog. So anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's very organized and awesome.
It's ridiculous how organized I am.
Well, I'm going to dig into that piece about the areas and themes a little bit, because in looking at some of the, generally speaking, there's like the general Montessori philosophy, there's the focus on particular planes of development, the material spotlight or highlight, curated book lists, and then family or parenting resources. And so I'm just sort of curious which of those, like you said, Melissa, like you pick and choose, and like what have you found to be most useful for your school and community?
Well, I can say probably the least useful is the book lists. And usually I save that for, like, it's a really busy month and I don't have time to think about this blog. I mean, I think they're fine, but I mean, I think anything on Montessori theory or Montessori materials or parenting or about the day-to-day life at school.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty rare on the blog that we do something like related to social justice, or because it's just for our school, not the place to do that, because that's more for our internal community.
Yeah. And then another question kind of tied to that I have is with that day-to-day life at school piece, I've also been kind of wondering about how, if it would be useful, I mean, it sounds like you adjust the blogs anyway, but if it would be useful to have a little optional, here's a place you could plug in an example from your children's house community or your primary community, or, you know, however it is, but just some highlighted spots of like, if you want to, here's the spot. And so it's super easy.
Yep, I would agree.
Okay, great.
Because if you're not nitpicky like I am, then that would be really helpful. Like, for example, for my head of school, like she would love that.
Right. Just make it, you know, smooth sailing and easy. You don't have to think too much. Yeah. Okay.
Almost like a template.
Yeah.
So we do have usually the section at the top, and then I've been highlighting it actually like in yellow if there's really something that, you know, a lot of them it makes sense to link somewhere at the end or something like that. But
but are you meaning more like a actual content block?
Yeah.
Right. So like in the text somewhere having something highlighted, like this is a great place to insert a photo of your
or a description of your outdoor environment or your toddler bathrooms.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's true. Like I do that too. I go through, or in the past, I've gone through each blog and sort of thought about it. But what I've noticed is that when I'm in a time crunch, I'm less likely to be like, oh, let me get creative and add in some. It's more like, yes, done, checked it off, done, move it on. And that if it had a little place where I was like, oh, yes, I'm kind of being cued, you know, even like a sentence starter that you finish it if you want to use it.
And also that, because we've kind of tapped out the Nido photos that are available. So, and I've kind of tapped out our good photos. So now it's like, like the process of saying like, okay, I need pictures of children doing grammar materials, not at the last minute before I'm about to send this in. If there's some way to help users kind of think ahead with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, because even then, if there's also with the, I was sort of thinking like, if you know for that month you're going to need a couple of these type of pictures, you might have a chance to capture them.
Take them.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't, Camille, will some of those photos that schools are getting with the photographer through Nido be available? Is that
no, we can't make them available to everybody unless right. But you know, we do have that photography special now.
Right, I know, but Marnie said we can't pay all up front.
Okay, we're offering it separately now too. But it's
okay.
kind of pricey, but it's like $3,000 to have somebody come. But we can talk about that.
Yeah, separate.
I just made a note here. I know photos are, you know, if you have a parent or somebody, or you know, even
and it's more about like the particular photo about the particular thing to like have me thinking about it ahead of time as a user. Yeah.
Right, because then if you're out, you know, visiting a classroom, observing or whatever it is, you can be like, oh, I need that grammar photo. Yeah, I see someone has the sentence analysis, sentence analysis materials out.
Yeah,
so, that makes a lot of sense.
I wonder. I'm just thinking, Mary, maybe if I mean Melissa. I'm sorry.
okay.
If
You have 3 M's, Megan, Mary, Melissa, and myself.
Well, usually it's Camille and Camilla, so I'm outnumbered today. One thing it just popped in my head that maybe if your school would be willing to do the work with the photo releases, if we had, maybe we could get you photos for almost nothing, if we could add them to our
Use
own
them.
library for all the clients to use, because I am really tired of all those photos too. I mean, it's time to
Yeah.
get fresh ones
Yeah.
in. So,
I mean, I think I'd have to check with Marnie, but
Yeah.
I think we might be open to that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I have to check with Possum too. But
I will say we kind of lack diversity, which is unfortunate. So,
yeah,
I mean, we
Yeah.
have some, but
Soda, right? Yeah. Okay, something else. Sorry.
No, that's great. I love all of this. Mary, is there anything that in your work with different schools, when you think about resources for the especially the 0-3 communities, or just that you've noticed, like, is there anything that comes to mind that you think would be helpful? I mean, you mentioned a couple in terms of the parenting, like that support.
I've been muting myself because there's all this construction going on in the parking lot. Good notes. Anyway, I don't know if it's appropriate necessarily, because the blog seems to be geared towards your like parent groups, right? But one of the common themes that, and this kind of like interacting with administrators is support for teachers and staff, and I don't know where that fits in the blog necessarily. But that seems a big topic of conversation this whole year,
Yes.
and where that fits, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. But I wonder, even if, I love that idea of if there's a way to even for member schools to have if some things are flagged somehow, if like this might be a nice thing to share with your staff, that then it doesn't create any new work other than a mindset of, oh, this could be something, because I think we need that in our busyness of what we're doing, sometimes just a little cue of, hey, have you thought about sharing this, and beyond the parent piece. So
Well, even just simply, if parents just once in a while say thank you. I mean, that's a very simple thing, but it could mean a lot,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is a topic that's maybe how to support us, supporting your children kind of thing. And,
Yeah. I remember one of the past blog posts was about how to prepare for parent teacher conferences. Like, so even that is like, it's like coming at it from a different angle, right? Because if families come in prepared, it makes the job easier for the staff. But yeah, looking for those little places where to build more support for the teaching staff. Yeah.
I just had another thought coming from the staff perspective that Mary brings up, that I think the guides would say, like, oh, we need more information about like red flags and developmental milestones, so that because of course we know, because we're around so many children, but parents who haven't been around children don't know what to look for. So some parent friendly information about that.
Yeah.
Not like accusatory or, but here's some common milestones for each age group.
Yeah. That's great. It reminds me of, we've been looking at the ages and stages questionnaire, and it has that same sort of feel of, it's just sort of like a, let's take a look. It doesn't feel right, judgmental, or just information. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to flip through and look, just see if I had any other questions. Oh, yeah, one other one I had. Melissa, do you use the social posts, or do you just do the blogs?
We don't officially use them. We download them and look at them and like pull information from them. Our classes each have their own personal like Instagram, private Instagram
Mm,
now. And honestly, like we have cut back on marketing because we can't take any more children. So
that's
we
great.
don't want to do any more social media posts. It's a great problem to have, but it's kind of like we really cut back because we couldn't handle the
Yeah.
magic of Nido.
That's like you have to capture that success story.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
I think Camille, you did do a blog post on White Bear Montessori success a
You're
while
one of,
back.
yeah, you're one of our case studies.
Yeah, but it's even like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's great though. I mean, like when we were going through all of the Google ad account, we're like, no, we don't want to, they don't really want anymore. We got to scale back their ads and, which is great.
Yeah.
You know,
It's been really fun.
yeah.
That's very exciting. All right. I think, I mean, this has been incredibly helpful for me. And please know, Melissa, if there's, Camille and I were just talking about if, anything, any ideas or any other thoughts, like, please, for me, feedback is incredibly important and for growth and learning, for all of us, right? And so, I recognize that piece of picking and choosing, and I just want to make sure you have as much that you want, right? And that's useful for all the member schools. So
Yeah, I'm
thank you.
excited to have a new voice
Yeah.
speaking for us. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I'm
stepping
excited
up.
too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
One question I've wondered about is, I know it pretty much in the past, the blogs have seemed to have been written almost for current parents rather than prospective parents.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering, I mean, and you said, Melissa, that it's really more prospective parents who are reading them
Mhm.
more than the current parents. So I wonder if there's a way to just kind of generalize it. So it's, I mean, they're really obviously appropriate for either, but maybe to make them a little less, really
Yeah.
sort of, thank you for
I would
being a member of our community, because they might not be yet.
Yeah,
Right.
I would agree. And I think for the most part, they're written in a very familiar tone, like and like a very casual writing style. And yeah, to our parent current community. And when I adjust them, then that's what I'm spending time doing, is making them more less familiar and more generalized. So it would be great if the tone was a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I think like we already do our internal communication to our current families through monthly letters from the teachers, their Instagram pages, and our monthly newsletters. So what we do is like put the blog in that as part of a whole communication.
Right. And do you have a sense, Camille, how many member schools, if it is targeted more toward prospective or targeted more toward current families?
I don't have a sense of that, but from a marketing perspective, we would want them to be targeted towards prospective parents more, because that's really, what we're trying to provide as a service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, like, in that vein, like, once parents are here, then they start to learn like the Montessori language.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the blogs are written, and if I were a prospective parent who didn't know anything, I would be like, what are they talking about?
Right.
And it would really turn me off. So I've tried to then kind of change that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Even for current parents who've been here for 4 years, and you say the environment or Pink Tower, and they still don't know. So.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
I don't mean to be like critical.
I'm actually I'm telling you what's going through my head right now is how easy it would be to have like two versions of the same thing, you know, like, so that then schools have an option of, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to make more work for myself, but I mean, that would be really nice, right? Is to be like, well, here's something the same thing if I want to send it to current families, and here's the same general content, but framed slightly differently for perspective. It's not that hard. So that's what I was, that's why I was silent, silent and thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then we also provide those emails that kind of go with it. And
Yeah.
so that again would be,
Mhm.
you know, this is for your current parent list. This is for your, and I'm not suggesting that you necessarily need to do that.
Yeah, no, right.
A lot of work.
Ideally,
work.
it would be something that would be appropriate for either, but you know, I
Yeah.
think if you want to kind of weigh it one way or the other, I would weigh it towards perspectives, because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really what I'm trying to do. And the other thing that I just wanted to thank you for saying, Melissa, is what I've always said too, is that when you've got these blogs on your website, they turn into this wonderful library after, you know, if you just keep updating them, and that is just, anyway.
It's really fantastic. And I think, you know, again, we haven't been able to bring the faculty into using that as much as we'd like, just because this year has been like insane. But now we have that, and we will continue to build it. And what a great resource. So thanks to Nido for that.
Yeah.
And I wish I hope other schools are taking advantage of it. Other members.
Yeah, they do, but you'd be not a whole lot. It's surprising. I mean, anyway, it surprises me, and I'm always promoting it. But your idea also, I mean, I'm thinking of the spreadsheet idea too, to provide that for clients too, so that it's easy reference.
It's super easy. I just go in and copy and paste the links in every week, and
yeah.
I
don't know how we would provide that other than I just
you
have
just provide a template, or even share the idea.
Right. I'm sort of thinking, I mean, you have on the website, the page that you showed that has all the blogs, but then that link goes to the Word document, right? So that's
it actually is a zip file of all of the months worth. So if we could provide like just a Google sheet that has, you know, a link to every, we provide them as Word docs, because that seemed to be the most universal for people to
well, and for the way the tool works for me is that I then take the link from our website when it goes live.
Right.
Not from Nido. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then I can say, like, prospective parent, here is this blog about toileting in the toddler room from our blog. Check out our blog for more ideas.
And then it takes them back to your website, which is the whole purpose.
Right.
So maybe having more of that template for schools to create or build from. Yeah.
And that's like, because I came into this like having never done this before, and so it's been a learning curve. And I think one thing that I feel like I had to figure out on my own was the putting links in your blog back to your website, like to Children's House and to things, or to other blogs that we want families to, you know, like-minded. Like the whole idea of putting links into it was something I kind of just learned myself, but I do think it's really valuable to get people to go back to that Children's House page, or back to that toddler page, or back to another blog that references this topic.
Yeah.
But not too many links.
Right.
But that's very important, because that encourages them to dig deeper. You know, it's exactly what you want to be doing.
Right. And I don't know that that was implicit to me when I was trained in to do it, but that could have also been because Marnie was already doing it and she kind of trained me in, you know, maybe you already talk about that with new clients.
I know I've mentioned it, but I mean, it should be something that's more emphasized, I think, because it's important. So. And again, that could also be something that we highlight in the blogs that say, this is a great place to link to your primary page, you know, program page, something.
Yes.
So, okay.
Well, I'm so grateful, even though it's a small group, it's been actually really nice just to be able to dig in a little bit more and to hear, Melissa, about your experience with using the blogs. It's given me a lot of really great ideas. So thank you.
Good. Well, I feel bad more people aren't here, but it is a busy time of year.
Yes.
I came running from our toddler room to come be here.
Yeah, we were just reflecting on that right before the meeting started.
Yeah,
That's
our
the
staffing is
reality.
like a patchwork quilt this week.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We have two assistants that just left for Denver today for the Montessori Institute for AI training. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow, that's
really
exciting.
excited. It is exciting, but we still have 5 days of school.
Right.
Are they starting or finishing,
They're
Melissa?
starting.
Oh, great.
They're
Oh, that's
starting.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. We're so excited.
Yeah,
Great.
they'll have a great time.
Mhm.
Well, when I send out tomorrow, I'll send out the recording of this, and I'll reiterate that if people have other ideas, I should email them in, and we can just continue this conversation, and even have another meeting. Maybe that's at some point,
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
6 months from now or whatever. We'll see how things are going. But yeah.
Great. Well, it's nice to get to meet you, Melissa. It's nice to get
Yeah.
to see you, Mary. And is it Michelle?
Maisel.
Maisel. It's nice to
Yeah,
get to
Maisel.
briefly, Maisel, to get to meet you too.
He's
See
the
you.
best ever.
Yeah, that's great. Your camera's not on. Are you? You're getting ready to go on vacation, so. But anyway,
Yeah, we just,
yeah. Yeah. So next week. So Camilla's the one who usually organizes this, and she's off this week. I believe we have one of our members just talking about how to create a great environment, like a peaceful school kind of topic. So I think that will be great. And we are not going to have our town halls over the summer. We did them last summer, and there was about this many people at them. And so we just decided that it was better to kind of just take a break in the summer, and we'll be back in September, but we still have the rest of June. So I'm rushing things along here, but anyway, really appreciate you coming today. And if there's anything else that you think of, we're always open for ideas and suggestions, and we want to make this the most useful for you that it can be. So
Thank you so much. And again, Megan, thanks for stepping into this role.
Yeah, thank you. It's really nice to connect with you.
Thank you.
Camille, can I connect with you about the photography thing at some point?
yeah.
Is it worth me asking Marnie about?
Yeah, I need to run it by Qasim. I don't.
Okay.
And but I think he'll be open to it. He's
Okay.
He's pretty open to things, and so she's been especially. Anyway, yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about it after, and
Okay. Awesome.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, me too.
And are your classrooms open in the summer?
We have less children. We are going to have one children's house up and running.
Okay.
But with just older children. Our younger children are going to be more in a childcare room type
Okay.
of space.
Okay.
So it would probably have to be in the fall.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Happy summer.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, you too.
bye.
Bye.